Welcome to Combat City, baby. We got a Fight Night Oliveira vs Gamrot going from the top. Simon Oliveira vs Luan Laquera. So Luan's on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC. His last fight was in 2023, then took a break. Now he's coming back off his layoff. Simon's on a 3-fight losing streak. Took a break throughout 2024, came back this year, lost to David Martinez, but that aged pretty well, to be fair. He just beat Rob Font in the Noche event, so fair enough. Simon himself, I think he's what height is he? 5'4", fairly small for bantamweight. Not midget sized or anything, but perhaps a bit of a goblin. Yeah, both these guys are just on losing streaks. It's a battle of who gets cut. They're also both mainly submission guys. I expect this to go to the ground. And yeah, Luan's my pick, but I'm not too confident in this. Next up, Julia Palastri versus Carolina. Julia's 1-2 in UFC. Lost to decision with Lupita Godinez, Lupi, which is fair enough. That aged pretty well. Carolina's a bit of an interesting record. Goes in these big win streaks, then these big losing streaks. Take a look at this, right? These big blocks. So effectively a win-loss fighter, but in chunks. I mean, she's got this one win over Rose over here, but that's nearly a decade ago, so whatever. She's 39 years old. So yeah. I'm gonna go Julia decision. Yeah, decision. Carolina has not been finished in a long time, if I remember right. Decision. Not since 2022. So yeah. Next, Volta Walker versus Muhammad Usman. Battle of Brothers. I kind of hope there's like John Anik in there on the commentary, and he says some shit about that. Both these fighters live in the shadows of their brother, something like that. But yeah, as you know, Volta's on his 3 heel hook streak, and then Usman's coming off his win on Hamdi, old mate. Yeah, you see him there. A lot of questions around why this one's actually happening, this fight, and Volta Walker himself has asked to fight down the rankings. I think he says that he's not ready to try for the rankings yet, something like that. So he wants to fight down, and they're just constantly throwing in these layups, like they're Dwayne Wade. But I expect that Usman knows the heel hook's coming, and I think eventually, if Volta does keep this up, like if he does win this one by heel hook and then goes on to an opponent that's kind of just better, I think he will get caught for it and will just turn into one trick. But yeah, I don't think Usman's the guy to get him on that. I just don't think he's that good. Anyway, so yeah, Volta round 1 sub, heel hook. Uppercard, Lucas Rocha versus Stuart Nickel. Both are on 1 in the UFC. But I trust Stewie's striking. The grappling in this matchup is kind of unclear. I think Stewie's pretty physical for flyweight. Sorry, he goes heavy on the wrestling, but in the past, in his latest fight, who was it against? That kind of cost him. Because he was in the top position, and yet, oh Jesus himself, fair enough, mate. But yeah, he was in top position here, and then his wrestling was doing well for him, but his lack of jiu-jitsu, I guess, is what cost him. And yeah, Jesus just pulls the guillotine on him. Should have been a crucifix, eh? But that was pretty bad. I'm not too familiar with Lucas Rocha. Yep. I assume since he's Brazilian, he's going to have some Jiu-Jitsu. Let's take a look. 17-2, 25. Doesn't seem to go after the submission all too often. Only 4. Loss. He got submitted by Clayton Carpenter, who was also on this card, actually. That's kind of funny. But, yeah, maybe he prefers to keep it on the feet there, but then that's where I do actually favour Stuart Nickel. So, I'm going to go with Stuart Nickel there. Likely by KO, but I could also see like a late ground and pound win. Something like that. Now we got Irina Alekseeva versus Bia Mesquita. They rhymed. This one's pretty straightforward. He is actually like quite a decorated grappler, quite a decorated jiu-jitsu practitioner. Look at all these. Like, got Misha Tate there at the Fight Pass Invitational, and yeah, she's done pretty well. And then Irina isn't really anything that special. She's 5-3, like 2-fight losing streak. Lost the decision from Claudia, who is, take a look at this. American Top Team is what I'm going for there. And then, funny that, American Top Team. So, yeah, it's just a lot in favour for Bia here. And all of that goes against Irina. I'm just going to go Bia by submission. That's easy lock. Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. Not a whole lot to say for this one. I'm going to go with Petrino. I do think he's a bit daft. Like, his IQ is the amount of wins he has. These 12. Every time he gets a win, his IQ goes up by 1 IQ point. This is the guy that gave Anthony Smith the free submission, like the free guillotine on a silver platter. So I really don't trust his IQ, but I think he's just more skilled than Thomas Peterson. So I'll go with him, but not all too confident. Jafel Filio versus Clayton Carpenter. Clayton, who we mentioned earlier on. So Jafel Filio, he's got the grappling win over Amir Albazi here, which is pretty solid. He also made it very competitive with Muhammad Bakayev here. Attempted many submissions on him, but then ended up getting choked out himself. Clayton's pretty solid, but I think he's just low output in general. So, given Jafel's higher output and the home crowd advantage, I'm gonna go with him. It is kind of close, I think, but if this goes to a decision, I reckon they're just, it's Brazil, and he's Brazilian, so I think he's gonna get the decision kind of no matter what. So I'll go Jafel decision, and that applies to a lot of these. Like it's all Brazilians in Brazil. There's gonna be some bullshit. So yeah. What are we up to? Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. What is this guy doing, bro? Michael Aswell. Look at this guy, man. Look at this. This guy's from Fury. Amateur bouts Fury. Alright. Yeah, Fury. Then he goes onto the Contender Series, loses to Bogdan Grad, goes back to Fury. Then they sign him. Then he loses. So, yeah, it's kind of similar for Almeida here. What was he from? Jungle Fight. What the fuck is that? Jungle Fight, man. What is this? Is this the Brazilian? Yeah, I think it's the Brazilian regional promotion. But yeah, he's from Jungle Fight. Loses to Zellhuber on the Contender Series, which aged pretty well, to be fair. Zellhuber put together a decent run, then gets sent back to Jungle Fight, then gets signed, and he's been pretty win-loss since. So this could just be a battle of who gets cut as well. I don't know why these all these mid fights are so high up compared to the Walter Walker, Muhammad Usman. Surely this is more marketable, but anyway, that's a different thing. I think Almeida's got the experience here. I think, again, the home crowd, I think he's just been tested more, and I trust him more to get this done. Not sure how, but that's who I'm going with. Ricardo Ramos versus Khan Offley. This one's interesting. So Ramos is 2-3 in his last 5, I believe. One of those is a win on Josh Kulabau. I don't think he won that. I think Josh Kulabau definitely won that and ended up getting cut because he lost that. So I'm a bit salty over Ricardo Ramos. Don't really like him. And yeah, on the other hand, I don't really like Turkish people either. So yeah, ideal scenario, it's a draw. But yeah, I think this is another bit unclear, battle of the bums kind of thing. Offley's from Tough. I think he's not sure how he's actually fared since then, but he's lost all 2. So Muhammad Namov, alright. But yeah, I'm not too sure what to go with this. I guess perhaps Ramos is just more experienced, so it's better to go with that. But maybe I will go with the draw. No, I'll go Ramos. I'll say Ramos, but ideal scenario is a draw. Jonata Diniz versus Mario Pinto. This one's... These guys have a common opponent in Austin Lane. But yeah, that's Austin Lane. Both of them finished him in round 2. But pretty different finishes. Pinto was backing up. He was getting pressured by Austin Lane, of all people, and then just kind of threw some shit and caught him. Whereas Deniz is the one who put the pressure on Lane. So, don't typically like to do MMA math, but I think there's a fair bit of that needed for this card. So Deniz backs him up and then finds a finish. Now, next, Vicente Luque versus Yoel Alvarez. Yeah. This one, yeah. Luque is like a failed prospect, kinda. He started his run. He got a win on Bilal, notably. Then went on to lose to Leon in the next one. Then put together another pretty big win streak, and then lost to Wonderboy. And since then, he's just been win-loss. Notably, he's lost to Bilal in a rematch. Jeff Neal gave him some brain trauma or something, like his brain bled. And I think in the most recent one, he got choked out by Kevin Holland. Not too sure what choke, but one of the chokes. Alvarez, on the other hand, has been on a great run at lightweight. He's kind of in the position that Vicente Luque was in at another point in his career. But you could say that for a lot of guys, I guess. So yeah, I think the weight cut at lightweight might have been a bit much for him. So I am glad he's coming up to welterweight. I think he has the opportunity to be more active here. He's just one of those guys that's kind of... They're in the wrong division without realizing it. They're not... Their build and their style would just fare much better in another division. And yeah, for Alvarez, that's going from lightweight to welterweight. So I'm glad he's moved up. In terms of his actual resume, he's lost to Arman. Fair enough. So yeah, besides that, all his wins are by finish. He's very effective with all 8 limbs. By that I mean, punches, kicks, but also elbows and knees in particular. Like his knees in particular are very effective, I think. So I'm excited to see this. I'm glad he gets a feature fight on an Oliveira card. I think it's good for him. There's obviously an agenda with this one. I think they're trying to build him for their Spain pay-per-view, whenever that actually happens. But yeah, it feels pretty bad for Luque. He was meant to fight. Who was he meant to fight? Santiago Ponzinibbio, man, this 39-year-old Argentinian guy, right? 39, lost to D-Rod. Like, it's this win-loss warrior. Look at him, man. That's as win-loss as it gets. So they were throwing Vicente Luque an absolute layup, and now he gets Yoel Alvarez. So it feels pretty bad for him. But yeah, going Joel Alvarez, early finish, round 1 or 2, or I'd probably bet under 1.5. Now next one, Figgy versus Montel Jackson. This one makes me sad. I quite like Figgy, but yeah, I reckon Montel Jackson's got this one. I mean, this one's pretty debatable. I think we'll see these odds shift further apart as we get closer to the event, but I don't know. Figgy, he tore one of his tendons in the last one against Sandhagen. What? Are they gonna show this on Tapology? Knee injury. I don't think there's no more detail than that. Is there? But nah. I'm pretty sure he tore one of his tendons, that's an injury that can end your career just on its own. Like, people in their prime, people in their come up, that kind of injury can end your career. And then you go to coaching high school and telling people that you nearly made it big. But yeah, he did make it big. He's 37 and he's coming off an injury like that. I just don't see anything happening for him. I don't think it's even down to the quality of Montel Jackson. I think he's solid. But yeah, I think that Peter Yan loss could have been the beginning of the end for Figgy, which is pretty sad to say. I really hope I'm wrong on this one, but I'm going to go Montel Jackson by TKO. I think he's smart, he's kind of aware. I think he's going to attack that leg. So yeah, Montel Jackson, TKO. Now, main event, Oliveira versus Gamrot. Fair bit of background to this one. Oliveira was, as you know, meant to fight Fiziev, but Fiziev pulled out, and then Gamrot's his replacement. And I kind of like this fight more, honestly. It's not even the turnaround. Like, with at the time of this fight, Oliveira would have been KO'd by Topuria 75 days ago, and you're supposed to rest 90 days, right, after any concussion, like, at all. That was a bad concussion. Like, you're meant to rest more than 90 days for that, and that's 90 days of nothing, like no sparring, no tech, like anything you need a mouth guard for, you shouldn't be doing. But he's taken a full fight after a heavy knockout, and that means he's also sparring. He might be sparring hard. I don't know how he spars, but yeah, he could be already peppered up from the training camp. So to put him in with a striker, I did not like that at all. People were speculating like he specifically wanted the Rio card for his retirement or something, and it sort of did reek of retirement, but we'll see what happens. That's all speculation. I do like this fight more though. I think Gamrot makes more sense as an opponent. I don't understand how Oliveira, after losing a title fight, gets sent down to fight like the number 10 or 11 dude or some shit, who's coming off a win off Zellhuber, who I don't think was even ranked. I could be wrong on that one though. But yeah, that fight just didn't make sense to me in terms of the rankings and all of that. I like this fight more. I think it's stylistically better. I think it makes more sense for the sport. But yeah, in terms of the actual fight analysis, these guys have common opponents in Armin and Beneil Dariush, and the results are sort of like flipped. Oliveira's lost to Armin and then has the win on Dariush, but then Gamrot lost to Dariush and on paper has the win over Armin. I don't think he beat Armin, but on paper he does. But yeah, So that's the tape I watched for this fight, and I think from that you can kind of see that Gamrot he all-ins on his takedowns. I didn't see him fade one takedown at all. And yeah, Oliveira is going to catch on to that very quickly. Another thing he does is he panic shoots his takedowns. So if you look at the Arman fight with Gamrot, there was like a spinning back fist or something, wobbled Gamrot. The spinning back fist from Arman wobbled Gamrot, and he immediately level changes and sends the double leg. But yeah, I think Oliveira is going to catch on to that very quick. I think Oliveira is quick in his grappling too. He's very quick in his level changes as well, and he's very quick to sprawl as well. Like, by comparison, it's not really a direct comparison actually, but just on the other side of the coin, Oliveira and Arman's fight, Oliveira's jumping the gilly and whatnot. Like, Arman trips in round one, Charles is already on it before Arman even gets to look up. He also has that great reversal in the final moments, like the final minute or something, finds the Darce choke really quick. I think Oliveira is just so quick with his grappling, and a lot of people look past that. And I don't think Gamrot's ready for that, especially coming in on short notice. So, I mean, given how the grappling exchanges went between Gamrot and Arman, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of scrambling, rolling. I think Oliveira's just already going to be on your back. So, yeah, if Gamrot wins, I expect that it's from chinning Oliveira. But if Oliveira does win, I expect that it's from the grappling. And yeah, that's going to be my pick, Charles by sub. So, hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.